So here now to wade through some of the details and discuss what might be next for Venezuela is senior fellow at Defense Priorities and host of Daniel Davis Deep Dive on YouTube, retired U.S. Army Lieutenant Colonel Daniel Davis. Colonel, good to see you as always. We spoke, sir, on Friday. Certainly was not expecting to be talking about this today. What was your reaction to what happened over the weekend?
Well, I'm a lot of trouble, a lot of concern. I'll just be honest and tell you. Obviously, as you and I talked about the last time, the military operation itself came off without a hitch, and it was really done with extraordinary precision and very rare. You can get something of this nature, this scale, without any losses of at all, not even mechanical losses, was pretty amazing. But that's only the beginning. That's the easy part comparatively. Now comes the hard part because President Trump has laid out that we're going to take control politically of Venezuela. We are going to run the show there, and we're going to take physical control of their oil infrastructure and take the money that we make off of it to use it however we see fit. I don't know how that's going to go down. That's historically that doesn't work very well when you try a larger power tries to take the natural resources of a smaller power. Doesn't go very well very often, and that ends up being south. Then you've also got the issue of what if the Venezuelan government doesn't concede? There was some retired General Keane this morning said that the new president Rodriguez has to bend the knee to the United States, or he said President Trump will probably go in harder and bigger with more military force. Are we possibly going to attack Venezuela? Are we going to invade them? Trump said he wasn't afraid of boots on the ground. I worry that his appetite may be bigger because of the success here. He may think that we can go more and also have no cost, and I worry that that's not right.
And there's not a lot of details on the mission itself, Colonel. We know no American lives were lost, although some personnel may have been injured there. But from your perspective, from what we do know at this point, did the U.S. follow the law?
No, we didn't. I mean, they're saying that we did all day long, but you can say what you want. But the fact is that we didn't follow the U.S. Constitution. We didn't follow the 1973 War Powers Act. We certainly didn't follow any international law. There is no legal justification because your country has indicted someone on your laws that you can just go and steal the president of another country and literally take the head of state out by force of arms and kill about 40 people in the process of doing it. There's no justification for that. And this idea that it was, well, because people have died on overdoses in America, most of that has come out of Colombia and out of Mexico, China, and India. Hardly any of the fatalities in the United States have come from Venezuela because most of their stuff and their cocaine and whatnot goes to the Europeans, not to the United States. So that is false justification by itself. So there is no legal justification for this. I'm sorry, there's just not.
So the administration also has not offered a lot of information, on exactly who and how things will run now in Venezuela. The interim leader there, Delcy Rodriguez, posted a message for our president, encouraging this peaceful coexistence with the U.S. I would like to listen to a bit more of what we have heard from Trump over the weekend on the future of that country.
We have to do one thing in Venezuela, bring it back. Venezuela right now is a dead country. We have to bring it back, and we're going to have big investments by the oil companies to bring back the infrastructure. And the oil companies are ready to go. They're going to go in, they're going to rebuild the infrastructure.
We know oil is a big part of all of this as well, but what do you think happens next there, Colonel? And do you expect that there will ultimately end up being American boots on the ground in Venezuela?
Well, I certainly hope not. I think that would just be a disaster in the making that it's hard to overestimate. And in order to go back and, quote, rebuild the oil infrastructure, you're going to have peaceful coexistence between Venezuela and the United States. There just has to be an agreement on what's going to happen. No company is going to send their people in there if they don't think they're going to be safe. One of the reasons why the oil system itself has fallen into complete disrepair over the last number of decades is because of sanctions we've had on them, and because the Venezuelans said, no, we have control over this, so we weren't able to send people in there for the large part, at least not in the main. And so that would have to change as well. But you see, that the Venezuelans naturally, they just got their head of states taken away. They just had a lot of people killed. They lost a lot of their air defense, so they're not in a hurry to get into a conflict with the United States. And so you see President Rodriguez there is trying to placate Trump, trying to say, hey, let's just get along. But if President Trump asks too much, see, there's a dynamic on the internal. They can't give in too much, because then there are people in powerful positions within the country of Venezuela, within the power brokers, that are going to say, hey, we're not just going to hand over the reins of our country to somebody else. And there's been a lot of corruption in Venezuela. They're famous for that. And they're not just going to let go with their access to money and just hand it over to somebody selected by Washington, D.C. without a fight. And if you start putting boots on the ground or making demands bigger than what they can have, then you may end up getting a conflict. And that's what we have to be very, very careful about.
And I want to ask you really quickly, we are running out of time, but, last night, President Trump suggested the U.S. could remove Colombia's president. Do you think this operation will expand?
Look, is the one thing I'm going to be watching for. What happens to this armada? What happens to all these aircraft carrier, the aircraft carrier, all the other ships in the armada, the Marines, et cetera? Do they go back to their bases now, or do they stay in the region? Because if you're going to do anything at all in Colombia, you're probably going to have to add to it, because Colombia is now definitely ready. They're paying attention. So they probably would not be an easy target like the Maduro was. And so if you think you're going to go in there, you're going to have more combat power. So we'll have to wait and see what we see in the Middle East, because if we don't see an increase in that, then we probably can't do anything other than just claim a lot of things. But and if those ships go home, then that would imply that's not going to happen. So that's what you need to watch for.
All right, Lieutenant Colonel Daniel Davis, thank you.